Hello. Hopefully this time everybody can hear me. I'm hoping. Fingers crossed. If anyone comes into the stream, please let me know that you can hear me okay this time round. I don't know what happened. It just didn't want to go. Hopefully the quality of the stream's okay. I hope. Fingers crossed. Yeah, sorry about that. I had no sound on the first time round. I'd messed it up. But, you know, these things happen, right? These things happen. All panic. All panic. Right, so where'd I get to? I was telling you guys about the MB01. So I'm on to Parts Bag C, which is where I got to in the build series. And I just thought, there's not many steps to this. I thought I'd just jump on a live stream, do it on the live, and if people come along, they can interact, and that would be fun. Or at least I hope it'll be fun. Fun for me, because everyone's gone out and left me at home, all on my lonesome for the afternoon. So there's no football on till later on, the World Cup, so I thought I would get on and do a little bit of RC work, and this is, in fact, all I've got up here in the house to work on. So Parts Bag C is what we're working on. There's not many steps, so it shouldn't take me too long to finish putting this together, and then we can get on, or I can get on, to painting the body, which then leads me to this, which is looking to me, look, these are all the decals, it just looks like an absolute nightmare. Stream title is a bit wonky. Stream title is a bit wonky. As in, like, the stream is a bit wonky, or the title's a bit wonky. Yeah, that's wrong, isn't it? I have no idea what's happened there. RC, chat, and build. Yeah? MB01. God knows what happened there. God knows what happened there. Okay, we'll try again. Hey, Snarf. Hey, Andy. Thanks for telling me about what was going on. It was clearly not working properly. It's now telling me the stream's bitrate's not good enough. I don't know what they're supposed to do about that. Is it okay? The stream quality okay? Let me know. It's this live streaming is all new to me. Yeah, YouTube don't make it easy. I don't think they make it easy for you to understand what's working and what isn't working. You kind of have to have like a plug-in. I use something called OBS, and you set that all up, and that manages the cameras and the microphones and everything else. That manages in there. And then when you press go live, it kicks that all across into YouTube Studio, and then that's what runs the live stream. But the two systems sort of sit side by side with each other, and I'm not particularly techie, so when it all starts going wrong, I panic, which is what happened earlier on, Snuff. You said to me the sound wasn't working. That's because I got everything set up and forgot to connect the microphone. If the microphone's not connected, you can't hear it. So yeah, this looks like a complicated set of decals. Loads and loads and loads of trims. Do you see all those on there? It's just like loads of black window edges and silver bits to go around the windows, and this looks like it's going to be a little bit of a nightmare, but we're going to stick with it. It will keep me quiet for a couple of evenings, I would imagine, and what I end up with, hopefully, is a reasonably nice looking model. But we're going to kick off with Parts Bag C, and there will be a bit of rummaging in the box, unfortunately. I apologise already for any noise. So what are you guys all up to today? Have you got lots of interesting things going on hobby-wise, or are you just chilling? In the UK here, it is quite warm today. Had a bit of rain the first thing, but it has warmed up quite a bit. And my family have gone out ice skating, of all the things to go and do, to keep themselves nice and cool. I think we're going to use that servo in this. I don't know why, that one's out of a bag, so it is as good as any to put in. And I'm looking for Parts Bag C, but can't locate it. It will be here somewhere. There's so many bits floating around in this box now, because I emptied everything out of the bags. So if there's a specific part I'm going to need, it's going to be fun hunting around for it. Reminds me of streaming during COVID, Streamlabs, VCam, OBS. Yeah, it's a bit like that, Andy, and I don't really know what I'm doing, which doesn't help either, because I'm just sort of freestyling with it. Snarf's tweaking his ORV. I wonder why you're doing that. Andy's having a chill, thinking about maybe going for a little walk later with some red ORV. Lots of people are out testing their speedrun machines. I found mine, which is great, but I kind of want to get this build finished and out the way before I start working on that. I've got some ideas of what it is I want to do, but it's just a case now of starting the process. I found the motors, which was part of the hassle. Found the motors, which was great. And I found the actual chassis itself, or the buggy, which is great. I'm going to be running the Frog, which some of you may know. That's the ORV that I've got. I did consider buying a new one for this speed run, but because I'm not able to take it, I won't say seriously, I'm not able to give it my all, I didn't really need to build another ORV chassis. Now, famous last words, you watch us smash this up, and then I wish I'd bought another one, because I quite like the one that I've built already. But we'll see how we get on. We'll see how we go. But I've currently got a torque-tuned motor in my Frog. So that's got to be coming out in the coming days and replaced with something else. I won't tell you what that is yet, because I haven't thought about what I'm going to do first. Santiago, how you doing, buddy? How's it going, mate? Spending a Saturday building Tamiya models. I thought I was the only one doing that today. No, I have joined you in building Tamiya. Now, I did see that Santiago posted up yesterday on my sort of community posts that he's got himself an MB01, and he's also got himself a Monster Beetle, which I'm assuming is to do some speed running. But am I right, Santiago, that is MB01 is just for your pure enjoyment, yeah? Well, I mean, that's an amazing chassis. I love that build. That is such a nice build. And I really hope that you enjoy that. Right, what I'm going to do is if I swap these over, I'm just going to, so you guys get a bit of visual of my wonderful sorting skills now. I've taken advice from Phil, and now I sort all of my parts out into these little pockets. Look. You know, this was, I think this was a Cow RC product that I got from Model Sport. And it's just like a generic little metallic mat, where you can just sort the parts out into their individual little areas. But the little tiny ones, I put in the little buckets alongside this little mat. I mean, this pit mat's absolutely tiny. It's meant for sort of building diffs and things like that. But I found it quite useful. If you've got some diddy little wee parts, you can chuck them in these little side bins, and they don't go spilling out everywhere. Which is pretty cool. Andy's gone Absolute 8-turn motor, full 3D printed front suspension, as I won't be able to get too many runs in. I need to make every one count. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that's a fair, it's a fair assessment of the speed runs altogether. You know, do you just want to get out there with your best possible motor in and rip it? Because, you know, you won't thank yourself if you get out there and you smash it up on the first run with a 21-turn motor in it, and you intended to go to an 8-turn motor. You're not going to thank yourself if you never get to run that 8T. And what I'm considering is getting a motor in there that we're intending to run, and then dialing the throttle back on it. So, you know, we're in control of the car at all times, but we've still got the actual motor that we're intending to go flat out with. And I think that's probably some good advice, isn't it? Right, we have sorted that out. We've sorted the little bins out. We've got all of our parts organised. This is like a whole new me. Yeah, I'm still concerned that I'm going to knock one of these on the floor and lose everything. And that's always, when I see Phil doing this on his live streams or on his build videos, it sends me all sort of like, oh my gosh, he's just going to, if that goes on the floor, we're going to lose everything. But he gets away with it. So I'm going to give it a go now and see if I can get away with it as well. Right, I need a servo saver. which looks like it's in that bag there. That looks servo-savoury, doesn't it? All these little staples they put in the bags really get on my nerves. They get absolutely everywhere. Right, servo saver. Okay. Andy says, that's my plan. Start slow, work up, and now you have a new toy on its way so you can make your own design of screw organisers. Yeah, that's very true. So Andy is referring to the fact that I have purchased myself a 3D printer. I've gone for a A1 Mini, which is the smallest Bamboo Labs 3D printer. It's got a really small print bed. I don't know quite. It's 180 mil by 180 mil by 180 mil. So it's the smallest one that they do. And I don't really know anything about 3D printing. I'm going to be learning as I go. I'm hoping that it's all self-explanatory and really easy to do. Lots of people have said to me it's really simple. Don't worry, you'll get the hang of it pretty quick. So that is on its way. It's been dispatched. I've been saving up for one for a while. And I was saving up for one of these big, all-singing, all-dancing 3D printers. I thought I needed to get one that did multicolour with multiple spools and all that stuff. And then Andy was really great. He sent me a whole load of links to videos of people reviewing 3D printers. And I was alarmed, actually, at the amount of waste that came with a multicolour 3D print. And it just seemed to, like, keep extracting out. It'd, like, do a print, do a layer, and then when it does the colour changes, it has to, like, spool out a load of print. So I looked at that and thought, well, that's a lot of waste. That's going to cost a lot of filament. My daughter wants to have a go with it as well, and she's going to be printing all sorts of little toys. And if she sees as multiple colours, all my filament's going to go on printing, like, I don't know, fidget toys and dragons and whatever else it is she wants to print. So I just thought, no, just stick with a single one. And then when I was looking at the price difference between the sort of spool printer and this single printer, I mean, this one was on offer for £140. And I just thought, for £140, I've got saved £140. I was, in fact, I had more than that. I was well on my way to one of these sort of £400 printers. And I thought to myself, I can do that now and get started and just see if it's for me. And if it's not, I can sell that printer on and I should be able to at least balance what I've spent out a little bit. So that's the plan anyway. G1 Mech, how you doing? Good morning. Yeah, good morning. It is afternoon. It's 3:20 here in the UK. So, but good morning to you. Snarf says, I'm starting fast to get used to it, knowing what the ORV will take. Yeah, it's going to take, I think it's going to take a fair bit, actually. The gearbox might not once you get going, but certainly to start with, I think people have been getting some good speeds out of it easy on. Mike, the picky picker, how you doing, brother? Please do a review tutorial on that 3D printer. That is exactly what I am planning on doing. So it's interesting because Mini OAG has really got excited about it. She's been asking for a 3D printer for about a year now. And I kept saying, look, they're expensive. We've got to chill. Maybe we'll get one eventually, but Dad's got to work it out. They're quite expensive, blah, blah, blah. Setting expectations is what us parents do. When I made the decision that I just explained to you guys to get this one, I told her, and she was so excited. I've never seen her as excited about this 3D printer. And she's been sat on the Bamboo Labs app, I can't remember what it's called, just like looking at things and saying, oh, we can do this and we can do that. Anyway, Andy sent her a Lego figure, which I have got somewhere, but I haven't got it to hand. And she was so inspired by that. And it's actually, the minute I told her about it, she ran upstairs, grabbed this Lego figure, and she said, Dad, we could do a YouTube channel just on learning about the 3D printer. And she's all in. She's designed a logo on ChatGPT. She's decided what it's going to be called. She's worked out what her first video is going to be. She is all in, and she wants to do the tutorials herself. And she's not going to be on camera, but she'll be behind the camera. She's super excited about it. So, you know, Andy, thanks for inspiring my daughter. Really appreciate that, brother. Andy says he's got the A1 with the automated spooling. Yeah, but it does look good, man. But I don't have buyer's remorse on it just because of the waste on that filament. I don't think I would need it yet. And then if I'm going to step up to a multicolor multi-filament machine in the future where I need those multiple spools, I think I would probably jump up to something that can do a bit more capability with some different types of filaments that I can play around with. The other Andy Hall's in the room. Toa, Andy, how you doing, mate? I'm good. How are you? I don't know if you guys have seen Andy's entry into the speedrun challenge. His 6x6 ORV chassis, super cool. If you haven't seen his video from yesterday, I think it was, go check it out. He's running that around in his back garden, although he did crash it immediately into a silver birch tree by the looks of it in his garden. Good work, Andy. Let's try that again. I have an A1 with the AMS color changer. I mainly use it so I have more than one type of filament loaded at one time. If I want to use white or grey, I just tell it which spool to use. Snapmaker is the one I would pick. Snapmaker U1 is the one I would pick. Is that the software, Andy, that you can use to choose your designs and stuff in? I'm still learning about all this stuff. Right, let's do some snipping and RC stuff. These snips are sort of well on the way out. I don't know if you guys can see those. They're all rusted and not very sharp, and I need to sharpen them up. They are not the best. Hey, do you know what's interesting about this? Tamiya no longer include two of the servo parts. They just have the Tamiya Fataba one in there. They don't have the, what was the other one? This was a Savox one, I seem to remember. They've stopped doing that, or not, at least in this model they've stopped doing that. They've just got the one. Interesting. Not seen that before. Is that the case in all modern Tamiya kits, I wonder now? If you were Savox, you'd be a bit annoyed about that, unless they've gone to a standard servo, what do they call it? The top bit of the servo? Can never remember. No point me looking on here, because they're all going to be in Japanese. What's this bit of the servo called? This bit here, the gear? Let's call it the servo gear. There you go. I've decided that's what it's going to be called. Right, I think we've got all the parts there. The other Andy Hall, trying to make extra wheel arches on the body right now. Impossible. Oh, man. Do you know, I've got no sympathy. You took on this big project, brother. You know, you were the one who had this crazy idea, and you are in it now. You just got to crack on, man. You got to find solutions to your problems. No, it's a multicolor printer. Oh, the Snapmaker UI1. Okay, I'll take a look at that. Is that because you'd pick it because it's got less waste per print, perhaps? I get my snips from Hobbycraft, not paying silly money for Xuron cutters. You know, these, I think, were from Hobbycraft or similar or the like. But then I've bought them and now they've gone. I mean, I have been using them for 5 years, so maybe I should cut some slack, yeah? Maybe I should cut them some slack. Right. I need that. We better get the smaller one out as well, because I've no doubt that we'll need that for the servo screw. Right, so I'm going to ask you guys for some advice now. When you're putting your servos together, yeah, how on earth do you pick which screw you need for the servo? Because Tamiya give you this box at the bottom of the instructions down here that sort of says, oh, you've got all these different types of screws that you might need depending on your servo, but I've never worked out exactly which one you need to go into the servo. So what I always do is I take a screw and I put it in and I see, you know, whether that goes in easily or whether it's got, I mean, that's the smaller ones are too small. That's what that tells me. So that's too small, so we chuck them away. So it's going to be this one here, or, which is the 10mm, or it's going to be a self-tapping one. And then I never know which one to use, because the self-tapper will create a thread in there, which might be good. But then I'll probably be able to get a thread off that one as well, won't I? Yeah, always a mystery to me, which one to use. Always a mystery. Right, let's go back to see what people are saying. Andy said, much less weights than the bamboo, it's enclosed, so I could print ABS. Now, ABS is a stronger filament, isn't it? So if you print a body part in ABS, it's going to be a lot stronger. I was watching a video of a guy who made like a one-to-one car, and he got, I just didn't drink any of that water, did I? He's got a one-to-one car with a tow hitch on it that he played a plastic cover for, and then he put it in and then cranked up the jack onto the tow hitch to see if the cover broke. And the ABS one, I think he got all the way up to the jack being completely up and it didn't break. It was absolutely fine. I'd imagine if you're making car parts out of that ABS, they're going to be pretty strong. But I've heard you need a special type of printer, the enclosed printers, to make it all work. Plastic spline, self-tapping, metal spine, machine screw. Andy, you are a genius. Andy Hall. Look, the Andy Halls are so alike. They literally both just said the same thing. Metal threaded servo, whatever that it needs. So I'm going to chuck that one away because it's not a metal, it's a plastic. I'm going to use the thread. See, I've learned something. You guys are awesome. That's what it's all about. ABS, serious bad chemicals, so you need good ventilation. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't be playing around with that sort of stuff. That sounds like I'm going to get myself into a mess. Right, I'm being a naughty boy here. I haven't got an ESC and a battery down here, so I'm just going to wing this and chuck it together with the servo. You guys can't see what I'm doing because I'm doing it off camera because I'm an idiot. I'm just going to pop it on there like that. You should really center your servo first, but I'm not going to do any of that. I've already put that on the wrong way around. God, do you know what? Concentrating on a live talking and doing live streaming and all that stuff all at the same time. I don't know how Phil does it. He's like the grandmaster of everything. Talking about the Grandmaster Phil at Poor Boys. Did you guys see how cool he was the other day when he was doing that video with the, I don't know what buggy it was, he was at the pump track and he jumped that thing and it was coming right at him. And cool as you like, he just caught it with one hand at the sky. That guy, superhuman. Superhuman. Don't know how he did that. That, to me, that would have smashed straight into me. Another trip to A&E. Right, that's that on. This bit here is next. That's the top of the servo horn. And then the little tiny wee P1 bit in there. And we are good to go. Hold it all together. Screw that in. I'm going to take it off camera just to give it a bit of extra torque. There we go. Servo is on. How do you guys find the Tamiya servo savers? When I started out, every single car I bought a high torque servo saver for and put a high torque servo saver on because I could find it. They're the only ones that I would put on would actually stay on the servo. The regular servo halls kept falling apart. It really got on my nerves. But now, I don't know whether I've just got better at building them. I've got the technique down. I don't have any issues now with putting those together. My wife is texting me. I hope she hasn't crashed the car or had an incident of any sort. There's a guy coming up the drive with a giant box that says Bamboo Lab on the side of it. So it looks like my 3D printer's just arrived, which is great. What a day to be alive. And that'll be the dog that you guys can hear now, having a good old bark. I think he's left it. Panic stations. Will the DPD guy leave it or will he take it away? I think he's leaving it on the doorstep. He has left it on the doorstep. Excellent stuff. Right, sorry about that. Slight distraction. Always the same when something turns up, isn't it? I just used a high torque. Tell me a high torque. They're fine. Or none on my race buggy. Oh, Andy, you devil. Yeah, I've heard that when people do race buggies, they just attach the servo horn directly to the servo. But then if you crash it, does that have the danger of ripping the screw out of the servo? For hooning about, I use Tamiya ones for speed stuff, high torque, or Kimbra. Yeah, I had a Kimbra one on something else that I built. Can't remember what I did. Right at the start, when I first got back into it, I bought one and put it onto, I think it was my Raider. It's got a Kimbra servo saver on it. Very cool. Right, step 29. We are attaching the battery mounts. I wondered when they were going to come into play because I couldn't see anything on the body that was going to mount the batteries to. So let me find those parts. This build has got so many parts trees. It was ridiculous, to be honest. Any of you guys built an MB01 yet? There are just so many parts trees, and there's so many wasted parts as well, because this thing is built for like multiple different builds. There's just like a ridiculous amount of parts, and I mean, it amazes me that they put it out for the price that they do, given how many parts there are. Don't crash. Actually, I do a lot, but the servos are so strong these days, it doesn't matter. Okay, that's a fair point. It would matter for me. I crash all the time. Right, here's the chassis. Here's the chassis here. We're going to mount these onto here, apparently. Somehow. I'm assuming in there. But, I don't know how they're going to go in there. I need to read the instructions. That is not as straightforward as I thought it was going to be. So, let's take a look. Put one end in first, and then pop the other side in, apparently. Position it with the grooves. So it's going to go in like that, all the way. Like that. Nope. Nope. Not good. Got to do it off camera, guys. Okay. So what you have to do, if I can kind of show you, is you've got to lay it down that way, get it all the way in, and then come back and line it up, and then it goes in perfectly. Let's try and do one on the big camera this time, from this side, from this angle. It's going to go in like that, line it up, and then over the top. And they're just going to get clipped in with these clips, like that one. These are they R clips? Is that the way what we call these? There we go. So that's the battery mount in. You will probably get a lipo in there, just looking at it. I don't know if it's too wide, perhaps, but I think there might be the ability to get a lipo in that one. What do you think? You'd hope so, wouldn't you? Given, I mean, the thing is, this thing, look at the size of that. That's an M chassis. I mean, it's the long wheelbase version of this, but it's an absolute beast, really. They're a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. But then that is because I think we've got this big body. But I want to put that on top of a TTO2 and just see whether that is actually bigger. Right, we've got to mount the servo in next. Now, there is this awesome little slot already in there, look, for the servo. So the servo is just going to plonk straight in there, I think, and just be screwed into place, which is really simple. Right, let's check the old comments, what we got. Andy Hall, now, Toa, we know that's a lie. I did see you in the Franken Madcap. Yeah. I also saw him run his speedrun entry and smash straight into a tree as well. So he comes from the OAG school of driving, and that is crash. Crash, bang, wallop, what a picture. Right, so let's get... Oh, man, I do not. Wiring up RCs is like my least favourite part of the hobby, because I am rubbish at it. And you guys can't see what I'm doing because I'm doing it off camera, because I am utterly rubbish at it. Now, I know lots of you would cut the wires and solder things on and all that jazz, but I have got soldering on. I need to get my confidence up on soldering. So any advice on how I can get better and get my confidence up on soldering, I would really appreciate it, because it's a skill I've got to get better at. Snarf says lipo fits. Stevie Wonder School for Driving. Yeah, it's like the OAG School for Driving, mate. Right, we need some of these MA screws, and then I need some of those little Duvra babbers over here. We're going with the big ones. Now, and there's also on this bit, the attaching the ESC switch, which I'm not going to do. There is a slot for that on here. And my buddy Andy Hall also sent me some adapters that allow the 1060 switch to mount up. So in here, look, you'll see the switches on this side. Can you see that? Switches over here. Servos on this side. So there's a little adjuster plate now that you can put in and mount it. I hope it's going to work on this though, because it's already got a mounting position there. But yeah, we'll work it out. We'll work it out. We always do. We always work stuff out. It's part of the fun of the hobby, isn't it? Right, let's get this in here. Trying to do this where I'm not actually looking at what I'm doing is a bit of a challenge. Probably should have thought this through. There it is. There it is. Trying to give you guys something to look at, which you ended up just looking at the back of my hand. Oh dear. Live streaming is not easy, is it? Snarf's going to like the barbecue. Yeah, have a good time, buddy. Enjoy it while the weather's good, man. Enjoy it while the weather's good. I'd love to be doing something like that today, but unfortunately, been left home on my lonesome while the girls have gone out ice skating. Well, my daughter's gone ice skating. It's what Minnie does for a hobby. She's an ice skater. I have zero balance, and it is not a hobby that I ever partake in. Even less so, now I've broken my leg. Right, that is that together. We've got our servo in. Servo switch, ESC, not going to worry about that. Right, pop the chassis away for a second. Right, we need some wheels and we need some tyres next. There's a lot of parts on this part of the build. A lot of screws, a lot of parts, and not a lot of steps coming on so far. I mean, the fact that you just get multiple options for outdrives and stuff in this kit shows how many parts. I think if you were to take all of the MB01s that are being built, there's going to be a huge amount of options for tyre sniff. There we go. Not very pungent, actually. They're quite a light brand. Oh, Mark's joined just in time for the tyre sniffs, Mark. For some reasons, we're not playing on the PC. Sorry about that, brother. I don't know why that is. Although, you know, Mark, we all know about your technical prowess when it comes to computers, mate, and microphones. Yeah. Yeah. He may be the master of the build, but you give him a microphone to try and work out how to use, and it's all great. It's all good fun, isn't it, mate? All good fun. Stay in trade to practice. Grab a silver can dead motor and practice soldering the motor wires on and off. Andy, see, this is why we do a live stream. You've helped me work out what servo screw to use when I'm putting the servo together, and now you've given me some awesome ideas on how I can practice my soldering. Get a duff motor, take the wires off, put the wires back on, keep practicing until I feel confident. What a great idea. See, I'm not the only person that teases you, Mark. You get teased from all angles all the time. Look at that. Peter, hello. How you doing, buddy? How's life? I hope you're good. Right, we are getting these lovely silver-plated wheels out. Look at those. They're gorgeous, aren't they? Absolutely gorgeous. There's a lot of silver plate on this car. So that and the bumpers are all silver or chromed plated. I mean, these are silver. Look at those. They're lovely, aren't they? That's why I am thinking that this is going to be a bit of a display model. I don't have many display models. I think if I get the body done really nicely on this, I think it'd be nice just to sit it in the home office on display somewhere, and just enjoy having an RC that's not for hooning about and messing up and getting dirty. Just one that, you know, I've built and I've taken care of. So who's getting a Lunchbox Evo? I had a pre-order and I am not getting it now because I've just spent all my money on a 3D printer. I wanted one and I was going to go to town on it, and I bought a load of stuff I was going to do panel lines on the body because I wanted to make it super nice. So I bought a load of bits and pieces that I needed. I got some alcohol, something or other from Tamiya to be able to wash the panel lines down. I was going to get some Tamiya panel line ink, which you squeeze into the panel lines and it makes the panel lines all look great. But changed my mind. I think it looks great, but I want more buggies. I want more RC content, and there's going to be so many. There's going to be so many of the Lunchbox Evos knocking around. I have decided, do you know what? Maybe let's give it a bit of a break. Yeah. Right. Let's get these wheels on. Becoming a bit of an expert at putting wheels on now. Look at that. Nice and easy. Tell you what was difficult. I did the, what was I building the other day? I was building something and putting the wheels on was a real nightmare. I can't remember what it was now. What was I building the other day? Oh, the Fire Dragon. Oh my gosh, ripped my flipping hands apart, those tyres did. And they weren't as easy to do this trick with. So you put the wheel in that way and then you just kind of twist it through the wheel like that. But with those Fire Dragon wheels, you can't do that as easily. Oh my gosh. I was in bits after. Right, let's have a look. Honestly, Andy, I've not watched that channel in a long time. Good lad. Peter said I was going to get one, but I kept buying crawlers instead. That's the thing. There's so many different things to buy in the hobby these days. Whether it is more RCs, crawlers, planes, boats, Glenn's not here, boats. Whether it's 3D printers, whether it's paint, spray machines, you know. Andy did his video on his air gun, his spray thing. I can never remember what they're called properly. There's so many different things that you can buy. There's always another distraction. You just got to buy the things that you want, right? Lunchy Evo. Maybe I'll put a pumpkin body on it. Yeah, yes. I think we'll see a pumpkin Evo before long, don't you? Those wheels look ace, don't they? Look at those. Oh man, now I want to build something else that's super nice like this. Do you know what? I really want to build a truck. All of a sudden, you know, those big lorry things, I really want to get one and build it. I just can't justify the expense. But sat here and having to have done lots of building recently, it's got me kind of back in the mood to do more modelling. And those trucks look ace and I really want to build one, but I just can't justify like... It's a shame there isn't like a really like £200 version of that. That's a real base kit that you can get into it with. And then you can upgrade it from there if you want to. I want Tamiya to re the pumpkin lowrider. Yes, man. That was nice. I think I saw RC So-and-so did a pumpkin lowrider-esque. It was sort of like a hybrid. They used a different chassis to do it. Other Andy Hall, I'm supposed to be airbrushing right now, but I can't even start masking it yet. Oh, because you're still working out how the body goes together. How's that coming along, man? Have you solved that conundrum about how you were going to extend the base of the Brat? Because I was looking at you sort of laying that out and thinking, whoa, that's going to be quite a tricky thing to make sure the arches line up to your chassis and how it's all going to work. Right, we've got the tyres on. We're not going to glue them because we're not going to glue them. Oh, I was going to put the tyres on. Oh, I love putting wheels on chassis. It's my favourite part. It's like, it's that bit that you know you're getting towards the end of the build when you start putting wheels on. I used to go through a phase where as soon as I could, I would put the wheels on because I just enjoyed seeing the chassis standing on its own weight and not being propped up by a stand or something along those lines. But I'm going to get this off the screen because I'm probably going to drop something here. So we need that. We need the hexes. Hang on, slow down, Craig. Slow down, buddy. We need to get all the bits first before you just start trying to stick things on. We need the hexes. We've got some interesting stuff here. I'm going to go rooting in the box. The lowest spec Tamiya truck is the Volvo for around 290. Maybe send the body to Phil and Bree to do an automotive paint job. Oh man, could you imagine that? Can you imagine that? Paul Coughlin, finally I have sound. Sorry, man, I don't know. I had some problems at the start with getting sound to work. I think maybe it's put a few people off joining the stream today, so I apologise with the issues. I was an idiot at the start of all this and didn't set it up properly, so apologies. Right, where's my hexes gone? There they are. There's some there. We need those. And then we need some big boy hexes for the front, because this one's got a wider track at the front than it does at the rear, which is cool. Uh-oh. Just dropped something on the floor. That's not good. Arches are easy. I need to make an inch of rear deck from a bit of bonnet. Oh, man. Rather you than me, dude. Rather you than me. Messing around with Lexan. I get in and out of the body as quickly as possible. I just cannot stand cutting up Lexan bodies. And do you know what I haven't done for a while? I haven't done the score and snap method, and that is my sort of go-to when I'm doing a body shell. It's my go-to, the score and snap, rather than the body scissors. Just gets me nice and neat, but every time I'm doing it, I'm always thinking of, I think it was Rob, wasn't it, Mark? He cut himself when he was doing the old score and snap. I always think I don't really want to end up in that position. Right, let's put together these wonky rear, yeah, this is the rear, isn't it? The wonky rear wheel hub things. I mean, I know all this is going to brace at some point somehow to the top of here to keep it all in one place. You guys can't see what I'm doing. It's all going to brace together at some point, but you know, I just think this is such a duff design, yeah? Because there's going to be so much play in that ball cup there. I was thinking, I mean, this would be a great one for Mark to sort of do his bit on, because I think there needs to be a different solution to getting that to lock into place, personally. I actually considered whether you can change these arms here and then have just a standard hub in the back there rather than this funny joint thing. But hey, we'll see how it drives, eh? We'll see how it drives. Right, what we got? Did you change your hearing aid? I think I was on another stream. All packs are charged. Yeah, right. So let's pull this out of here. Yeah, I did have 2 streams, Paul. I messed up the first one. There was no sound, and the snarf was on. He was one of the first guys in and was like, dude, no sound. I hadn't hooked the mics up. So it was a good job he said that, and a good job I saw it, because otherwise I'd have been chattering away for ages longer before anyone else got in. Ah, man. This is where you need many hands to try and get this to all come together. So yeah, Lunchbox Evo is out in the UK. It's out next week. But I think, you know, knowing you guys over in North America, you're going to have a bit longer to wait, no doubt, for it to get over to you guys, unfortunately. Why isn't this working, man? It's not that hard to put a wheel hub on, is it? Come on, get a grip. Get a grip, dude. Concentrate. It's not going in there. Dude, I've had this problem with the last couple of Tamiya's that I've put together, where on the older ones, it never seemed to be a problem. But on these new ones, I can't seem to get the bar to seat in the hub properly. It just doesn't seem to sit right. And then it ends up, when I end up tightening this up, it ends up just crooking the hex. Do you know what I mean? And that's just not in properly. I know this is all going to not work, but just got to go for it now. Just got to go for it. I think that's fallen out. There we go, finally, got it. Oh, we're going to come off camera for a second, boys, because I need a bit of torque on this one. I need to hold it all into place now. All right, let's I need to buy one first to find a solution, but that ain't happening. Andy said, I just put a couple of pics on the Poor Boys speedrun chat if you have to wait to see it, Craig. Yeah, I will have to wait to see it, man. Shame you can't drop pictures and stuff into chats on the live stream, isn't it? Although that could be a disaster, couldn't it? All sorts of stuff will end up getting posted. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that, Andy. I shall take a look at that when I'm finished with this live stream. G1 Mech says, I ended up picking up the Citroen on eBay for 125. It was a steal. I had to pick it up as I love that body. Yeah, it is. It's a nice body, man. It's a nice body. Although, as I said earlier, the decals on it look like a flipping nightmare. 3 hours is my record. I was streaming a Zelda game and it got copyright struck. But no one told me. Oh, 3 hours of silence. Oh, no. Oh, no. That's bad. Does the pin even fit off axle? I would send all sorts. Yeah, you naughty boy. Yes, you would. Yeah. The pin goes in all right. It's just lining up the... Oh, I've just pulled the wrong one off. Flipping heck. Come on, man. Concentrate. Working on this back one now. It just... The pin, I can't show it because I'm not ambidextrous enough to show what's going on here. I think the part of the problem is that it's all just falling apart on me. Oh no. Because there's no drive cup. There is a drive cup in the back of this wheel. So this here is just a drive cup through the back. It just sits in the hub at the back. Whereas there's just nothing holding it in. And then you've got to get this little pin through the axle. And then you've got to put the hex on it. And it just... I always thought that these here, the cross would just sit straight into that pin. But it doesn't seem to do it as easily. Well, it doesn't seem to do it as easily for me on these modern Tamias like it does on the old ones. But maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just not as good as I used to be. Which motor setup are you running in that MB01, Craig? Sorry, I might have missed it. Saturday's cleaning day for me, so I've been tuning in and out. No worries, dude. No worries. I'm just here to entertain anybody that wants to tune in on a hot Saturday afternoon and watch an old guy talk about his RC car. I have got just a regular silver can in here because that's what came with it. And I am not planning on running this. So you see there, just a regular silver can in the back. I'm not planning on running it too hard. If I run it at all, I might give it a little test drive. But the reason is because I want to do a really good job of that body shell and make it super nice. And I want to have this on display in the office. But to do that, I've got to do a proper job on it and not mess it all up. Which, that to me, could well be the drawback. Right, we're going to do these front ones next. And these front ones sorted out. Now, for these front ones, I need those extra long wheel hubs. I've got to find those out the box. So bear with. Chat amongst yourselves for a second while I remember where I put them in this bag of bits. There should be somewhere. I remember now. I remember where I put them. I put them in this box. Handy little box. Here they are. So you'll see these are longer wheel hubs. So they're going to give the front a wider track than the rear. See? See those? So it's just simple. And they've got longer axles at the front for these to go onto as well. So it just means the front is slightly wider. And apparently that's the way these Citroens were in real life, which is why they've mimicked that in the model, which is pretty cool. I thought this would have been a really good entry into a speedrun challenge if we'd have gone with the MB01, because that front would make it nice and stable at speed, which would be pretty cool, wouldn't it? They did rally the DS back in the day, just saying. It's interesting you say that, my friend, because I have another one of these MB01s, you may have heard me mention it, which I fully intend on rallying. So I'm going to turn this slot monster into a rally chassis. I've got the Opel Kadett version of this with a pre-painted body shell nonetheless. And the idea behind getting that was for a rainy day winter build to rally it. Now, it needs some rally block tyres on it, which I don't have yet, but I do have for that one some oil-filled shocks to go on it. And the plan, the master plan, is to turn it into a little bit of a rally chassis, because that Opel Kadett shell is a rally shell. And then I've also got a BT01, which I bought for £80, which was an absolute flipping bargain. And I'm going to put the Peugeot body set on that one, and we're going to rally that as well. So we're going to have quite a lot of different rally things coming. And I've got the I've got an XV01 kit to do that XV01T that I picked up on eBay for an absolute song, which had a load of parts missing in the end. So I ended up having to buy a brand new XV01. I spent so much money, man. You know, it's ridiculous, really, isn't it? You buy these things over time, and you pick things up when you see them, and you know, my RC funds kind of flow in and flow out quite a lot. So yeah, I've got all these projects all sort of stacked up, ready to go. It's just time. It's just finding the time to do it all. I shouldn't really complain, should I? G1 Mech. I really want to find a Hudson Hornet body shell. If you know, you know. I'd be happy with a Lexan pumpkin shell and a Mark III Cortina GXL. I really want my M5 Alpine Jägermeister. Rally my M5 Alpine Jägermeister. Well, you can rally the if it is the MO5. Is that the Alpine Jägermeister on the MO5, or was that the MO6? You can rally the MO5 because there is a rally conversion you can do to it. So I've done that to mine. And mine now has a little aftermarket mini body shell on it. And I have rallied it. And do you know what? It's pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool. Actually, I love that chassis when it's in the short wheelbase. The MO5 short wheelbase on that is awesome fun. Absolutely brilliant. That Monte Carlo one that's coming out, that's going to be on the short wheelbase. People are going to love that. People are going to love it. I'm telling you. I did have, Andy says, I did have an F01 with the Alan Al version of the 306 before Tamiya did the BT01 version. I still have the MB Theatre Bath in a box. Just look at Phil's old BT. To go right, turn left. Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing, is that these things have got this wonky rear wheel. You can swap it this way and that way. You know, the front's not set up yet either. So because theoretically, if you were doing this in a rear-wheel drive, the whole configuration switches about. So this all stays where it is. So the servo's still back here if it's rear-wheel drive. These then get locked to the top up here. So these are in position. And then the steering arm goes all the way to these front ones. The steering mechanism comes up here. And then the front wheels steer up here. So you've got steering capability, both front and rear. Theoretically, if you wanted to, if you were being really, really canny with this, you could make it four-wheel steer, couldn't you? Because if you had the steering here to the front wheels, when you pulled it back this way, these would turn this way. And then, oh no, because it would push these then this way, and then these would go the opposite way, wouldn't they? Unless you had it pushing this side and then pushed them that way. You could four-wheel steer this. Hey, that would be an interesting project, wouldn't it? A four-wheel steer MB01. You'd need two steering racks to be able to do that. Hey, there's an idea. Crazy things you come up with when you're live streaming, eh, guys? Crazy. Peter, do you still have the XV01 Lancia, Craig? That looked really nice. I do still have the XV01 Lancia. It is probably my most driven RC car. And the reason it's my most driven RC car is I always want to drive it because it's so much fun. If you watched, Peter, I did a rally sort of series a couple of weeks ago. And I tell you what, man, it is just such a lovely car to drive. It's great on tarmac. It's great on gravel. It's great on dirt. It's not so great on grass, but the rally cars aren't really meant to be on the grass, but it is just so cool, man. And you know, if you've been on the fence about an XV01, you should give it a go. I've got XV01T to complete, and that's, I can't remember the name of that chassis. And Rob Brennan did a build series and a running video on that, and I think he complained it was a bit top heavy. It tended to roll. It kind of traction rolled a little bit. The rally chassis, the lower one, doesn't have that problem at all. But apparently the truck, when it's that bit higher up, it's a little bit unstable. We're going to give it a go. We're going to set it up and see what happens. Yeah. But I love that chassis. Absolutely brilliant. Could even do an active rear tow if you were really cheeky. Yeah, you could, man. You could really. And that's the thing, if this was a speedrun car, you could really do some cool stuff with it. You've got a wider front track. It is wider. Yeah, it's a little bit wider at the front. And then you could tow in the rear and you'd be so stable. Be so stable. Where are we at? G1 Mech says, I've been on the fence on the XV kits. Not sure if I want to get the 01 or the newer 02. They both look really fun to put together, but my Kyosho Beetle just came in and my TT02 is on the bench. Right, so let me tell you about the XV01, XV02. And if Marky Boy is in, he still is there. You know I love my XV01. Mark drove both the XV01 and XV02, so he can chime in on this discussion. I bought an XV02. I built an XV02. It's a build video on the channel. It's a lovely build. It's really engaging. It's really fun. I did a sort of head-to-head on them. Sometime I actually took off the channel. I don't know why I deleted it. I deleted the video, but I did a head-to-head on the two chassis. I raced them against a couple of others, similar sort of things to that rally series I did, and I didn't enjoy the XV02 as much as I enjoyed the XV01. And the XV02 cost me a lot more money to put together than the XV01 did, because the XV01 comes in a kit with a shell. It's all there. The XV02, you just get the chassis. You've got to buy the motor, you've got to buy the electronics to go into it, you've got to buy the electronics for the XV01, but you've also got to buy a body shell for it. So I think the XV02 ended up costing me about 300 quid to put it all together, which is a lot of wedge. And when I was sort of looking at the fleet and I sort of thinned the herd a little bit, it was a casualty of that. I just decided, you know what, I don't need the XV01 and the XV02. I kind of regret it a little bit now, but what I have got instead of the XV02 is I've got an XM01 to build, which is the little M chassis. It's probably going to end up being a similar size to this one, really, in terms of the wheelbase. I've got one of those to put together, and that's very similar to that XV02. So if you're on the fence between the two, Peter, my advice for you, sorry, G1 Mech, if you're on the fence between the two, my advice would always be the XV01. Andy Hall used 2 servos for the 4-wheel drive in the Kyosho Progress. I do fancy giving it a go on this, actually. Need to check out that video. Yeah, do go and get some OAG vintage backcat going, man. James, how you doing, brother? Are you good? I hope you're good, mate. I hope you're good. Yes, the Asterion, that's it. Mark, he loves his XV01. It is the best rally chassis, in my opinion. I've not driven the Kyosho Phaser Rally. I hear some good things about that. Mark, here's a question. Mark, is the XV01 a better drive than the Relalo rally cars? That's an interesting question. James, you're so popular, man. Look at all these people saying hello to you. Can't keep up with all the hellos. Hello, everybody. I did a shootout. Mark says he did a shootout with the XV01, XV02, the XV01 hands down in 2 different tests. Craig what? I did watch that XV01 shootout video. Great. But it is a great video. You know, Mark does some great videos. What I now want to know, Mark, is was it better? Do you think it's better than the Doobie Dabba? My advice is get an off-road car. I first saw the Asterion with Rob Steric one at a meetup. What a truck! Do you know what? I hope it is, man. I've been wanting one of those for ages because, well, yeah, I have. I saw one right when I got back into the hobby for sale. I didn't get it. That and the the Zahak are my two regrets that I wish I'd bought when I wish I'd seen them. Do you know what I mean? I am glad I've now got one, but this one that I got is just an absolute wreck. I've got to rebuild it. There's a guy on Tamiya Club. He bought this thing that like had been sat in a bath for its life, all rusted to heck, and he took it all apart, cleaned it all up, put it all back together best he could, and then got bored of it, stripped it all back, and I bought it off him for, I want to say I spent about £80 on it. Includes the body shower. The body shower's painted up nicely with the decals done nice. So I'm looking forward to giving that a build and getting running it. Mark says it's a hard question. All I'll say is they are worlds apart. The Relalos are way faster, but so much heavier. I prefer a lighter chassis like the XV01. Yeah, that's because the drivetrain, isn't it? You've got the brushless system in the Relalo and a faster battery and But if you took that out and if you whacked a silver cannon there, Mark, in that Relalo with a 1060 ESC and ran it, do you think it would be anywhere near as fun as the XV01 is on a 540? I don't think it would be. And the XV01 is just awesome. If you guys are on the fence about rally chassis, get yourself an XV01. Andy Hall says, I want it as a hack. I need its parts for my TRF 201. Oh, mate. Yeah, there's not many of those around. And when they come up, they are so expensive now. Like, if you wanted a Zahak new in box, you're going to be looking at spending about 350 quid on it. Not for me. I reckon Tamiya's going to re-release that, like they did with the DB01. I think we'll see the DN01 come back. Andy Hall says, so wish I had a Zahak, but then again, I haven't even put radio on my Top Cat yet. James, I'd love a Zahak. It's 3 people out of the people that are in this live stream want a Zahak. Tamiya. If there's someone from Tamiya that watches this, come on, Zahak, we want it now. Mark says no. No. Anything odd is cool. Uncle Bob. Late as freaking normal. Dude, you know, I'm 5 hours ahead of you, man. I'm 5 hours ahead of you. Oh, I've only got top chat on. Am I missing some of the chat? I'm missing some of the chat. That's what's happening here. Sorry, guys. I really want the Tamiya Ford Ranger re-re. Yeah, that is nice, man. I would like to build one of those Sand Scorcher bodies and chassis. And that one did get my attention. I did like the look of that. But again, there's so many things to pick from this hobby. So many things to choose from. You cannot have everything. It is just impossible. And that's the reality of any hobby, really, isn't it? You just can't buy everything that you could want, which is life. One day, my numbers are going to come up and I can have everything that I've ever dreamed of. But until that day, I'm just going to have to be a little choosy. But I bet you, if we could buy everything we wanted, if we had that ability to buy all the RC kits we wanted, we would never have enough time to build them all and enjoy them all. They would all sit on shelves and we would not get the best out of them. Because that's what happens with a lot of people's RCs, isn't it? They just sit on shelves. Right, my favourite part of a build, I've got to make some tie rods. In fact, there's a lot of tie rods that need to be made for this flipping thing, because you've got to have tie rods all over the place. I suppose I should be grateful for the fact that they come with some sort of adjustable arms. How many of these have I got to make? It doesn't say. I've got to make 2 of them for the rear. You'll get to watch me do the least enjoyable part of the hobby. And I've realised that I don't have my little handy tool up here to help me make these, which is going to really annoy me. Uncle Bob goes, hi guys, hey you guys. Zach has the Kyosho vibe all over it. Yeah, it does. It would be nice to see that at a price point that matches that Dirtmaster, wouldn't it, Peter? You know, the Dirtmaster's about 200 quid in the UK. A DN01 at about £200. That would be lush. I've missed some chat, man. If I've missed stuff as the chat's been going on, I apologise. So we've got Uncle Bob. I've been working on the Blitzer Beetle the past few days. Nice. He says I do look like sloth. Dude, I don't think you do. Mark says a Rolalo F10 rally car with a silver can and a 1060 wouldn't even move off the line. Yeah, because of all that metal in it. Yeah, all that, it's ridiculous, wouldn't it? Absolutely ridiculous. James says I would sadly become a new inbox collector if money was no object. See, I don't think I would. You know, I just like building too much. I enjoy it. I enjoy the process of getting a kit and building it and having fun with it. Right, let's get a little bit of grease on the end of these. These are like you see how tiny these flipping arms are going to be. And I am already a little nervous about how little thread is going to be in these tie rods. See what I mean? I mean, that's the size of them. Look. There's nothing to them. Slaying Herd. Hello, RC brethren. How you doing, dude? Hope you're good. Hope you're having a good weekend. I hope everyone's having a good weekend and everyone's enjoying some lovely weather. If it's lovely where you are, of course. So we've nailed that. That is sorted straight off the bat. What have I missed? So Bob, how's that Blitzer Beetle getting on? I've got one of those to build at some point in the not too distant future. I'm doing mine as a stadium blitzer though. I've got a what's the body shell? The Rocker Soccer body shell, and then I've got some repro decals that were sent to me by a viewer. Very kind gentleman over in Australia sent me some Stadium Blitzer repro decals, and we are gonna do a Blitzer Beetle Stadium Blitzer mashup thing that's gonna look flipping awesome. I'm gonna go part of the stadium truck lineup because at some point in the not too distant future, I am going to have a little bit of a, well, when my leg's better, I'm going to get back up on the Orchard Raceway and we're going to build another track. I was telling Mark about this morning, so I'll share the thoughts with you guys on the live stream. What I'm going to do is up in the top section of the garden, right at the very, very top, I had these grand plans to put an allotment up there, and we've just never got round to it because I don't have enough time to even mow the lawn some weeks. So we're going to build another track to help keep the weeds down, and we're just going to run it. We're going to have a great time up there. So I need a new track name, and we're going to have two tracks. We're going to have the original Orchard Raceway, which is just as it is, and then we're going to have a nice new track at the top where it's a bit more open, no trees for me to crash into, and we're going to have two tracks in the back garden, two little tiny little tracks. And then we can work out in the future years how we join them up and make one big one. Craig's, what's up next on the Orchard Raceway? You just heard it, man. That was good timing, wasn't it? Sling says he's in Calgary, Alberta, hoping to start building my frog this weekend. First time ever building an RC car. Dude, good luck, man. Good luck. Take it slow. There is there'll be someone out there who's got a build video for an ORG. I suggest you go and watch it and familiarise yourself with the build. It is going to be fun. You're going to love it. Just take your time. If you've got any questions, feel free to reach out. Send me an email. I'll help out best I can. Uncle Bob's going to send me some photos. Cheers, dude. Andy says I'd buy a truckload of DTO2s to make everyone a tribute low C JRX2 RC10 Raider. Yeah, mate. When are we going to get a Raider Riri? I want one. The Rocker Stocker body is the Stadium Blitzer body. And that's why I got one, man, because it is the same body shell. There's no excuse for Tamiya not to put that body onto the Blitzer Beetle chassis and re-release a Stadium Blitzer to the market. James, outside with this big fireball in the sky. Anyone know what it is? It's hot. That's what it is. Yeah, no trees, Andy. No trees on Orchard Sister Rachway or whatever it is I'm going to call it. This is not the greatest frame in the world. It's a tribute. How long does it take to build a frog, roughly? Oh, I don't know, 8 hours, maybe? First time? What do you guys reckon? About 8 hours? That includes painting and decals and all that sort of stuff, I reckon. James says, how's the leg? Thanks for asking, buddy. Been really good. I had a consultant at the start of the week who told me I could start walking around with one crutch, which I've been doing. But unfortunately, the leg has swollen back up. It's like a bloody balloon at the minute. And it's given me quite a bit of discomfort. So that's why I'm sat here not wandering around. I'm sat here building RC cars and chatting to you guys because it's still quite sore, unfortunately. Andy says, already have my Masami and Madcap Tribute DTO2s and have another in the works, Project Redacted. Ooh, sounds interesting. Looking forward to seeing that. Mark says you can build the chassis in a couple of hours. There you go. As a first build chassis, it's about 3 hours. And he also says, never built one. Well, you still haven't built one, buddy. You've built some sort of weird monstrosity that you created. You still haven't built yourself an ORV chassis as standard. Right, we built those 2 arms, and I've just realised that I've made a mistake because I wasn't concentrating, and these that I've built are for this section, so we'll do section 35 and then go back to 34 because I've made a mistake. You know, it's not uncommon, is it, for me to make a mistake when doing a build video. It's even harder to do it when you're live streaming. So I need this bit now, D14, go back into the... I mean, look at this. Look at all this. You see? That's how many bits of parts trees are left over in this build. And I've chucked some of them away. It's just ridiculous. It really is. Okay. D14 is in here somewhere. That's a great, Andy, that's a great suggestion at the end. It doesn't matter how long it takes. Just take your time and enjoy the process. Don't rush it. Don't rush it, because if you rush it, that's when stuff starts going wrong and you make mistakes. And if you make mistakes and you've got to undo it all again, you won't be very pleased with yourself. You'll be very unhappy with yourself. Good set of tools. Get yourself some of these. Tamiya RC craft tool set. They are absolutely brilliant. You will not regret it if you buy some of those for your build. They do a red set as well that can be quite handy also, but make sure you follow Mark's advice. Get a good set of tools. You will thank yourself for it during that build. Lots of people saying, yeah, 100%, 100%, 100%. Mark made a really good point. He always does. That's why he is the Bob Ross of RC. Who was it that said that last time? It was James that said that, wasn't it? The Bob Ross of RC. Seem to remember. When he asked me, who do I prefer, Phil or Mark? Cheeky boy. Don't forget the thumbs up, guys. Yeah, don't forget the thumbs up. Give everyone a thumbs up. Right. Cut these body posts off. So I've got a question. Do you know what? Hey, we could watch this. We can do something fun here. Start a poll. Okay, start a poll. Gonna have some fun. Question. Hang on. Question coming. Start poll. There you go. Get US Pro, make some reasonably priced JSI drivers. I've made 50% more mistakes in my first dish builds. Absolutely. Thanks. Any advice is welcome. I'll look online now to see if I can get it tomorrow. It was Dennis. I still make mistakes on builds. I just don't follow the amazing Tamiya manuals enough. Thinking now. I think I could do a Striker Sonic Fighter or a DTO2 with no manual. Yeah. So the poll so far is sat at 100%. 100% saying yes on the poll. I can't see it. Well, no one said no. That's why. But I can't see how many of you have voted on the poll, though. That's a bit of a shame. You all saying that you would cut the body posts down, which is kind of what I'm thinking I should do with these body posts. Shaggy says it wasn't me. Cheap anti-slip mat, maybe a few small containers for your screws and whatnot. Build an open, clean workstation, turn on the lamp and have good lighting and have fun. Yeah. Do you know, I can't recommend these little magnetic trays enough. I want to say this was about £4 or £5 for Model Sport, and it's just brilliant. Absolutely made it so easy for me to lay things out and build stuff. They're really good. Really, really good. So everybody's saying they cut their body posts down. I am naughty because I don't do that. I've lost my manual. Where's my manual gone? There it is. I don't cut my body posts down. And I know that frustrates people because I have these massive body posts sticking out. And I don't know why I do that. I've not really worked it out myself. It annoys me because I can't quite remember why I don't cut them down. I think it goes back to when I was like, I don't want to like not cut them back and then realise that I want them. And I, interestingly, cut down the body posts on my XV01 and I cut them too low. And now I've got a problem. Every time I try and attach that front body post, I can't get the R-clips on it because I've cut it too low. So you've got to be careful when you're cutting those body posts down. That's all I'll say. I'll end that poll now. That was fun, wasn't it? I could do a little poll like that. 5 votes. Only 5 of you voted. Come on, guys. Right, where do we get to? Poundland do takeaway pots are awesome for screw pots. There you go. Mabby always cuts them down. Tamiya kit's a pretty straightforward to build. It's a good beginner kit. Yes, it is. 3D printer stand for the chassis and a few trays. I have a non-slip mat, so it looks like the tool set is the last thing I need. Yeah, dude, 3D prints. Love it. Love it. What a great idea, 3D printing some little catchers for your screws and stuff. It's a great idea. Wish I'd thought of that. Beginners build next to the grasshopper. Yeah, the grasshoppers are a really nice beginner's build. I think I recommended that when I was talking about my 5 RCs to get for your backyard track if you're starting out in the garden over the summer with the kids. Grasshopper, DTO2, DTO4, DTO3, all of the above. But the Frog is a great, I mean, it's a lovely, I actually really like driving it on the track, actually, the Frog. Next, so once we finish with the speedrun challenge, the Frog's getting a 380 Sport Tune motor in it. And I'm going to take that to Club 380 when I get back to Club 380 Racing. I'm also going to have a go, if Paul Coughlin's still around, I'm going to have a go at mounting a 380 motor into the Falcon as well and try and get permission to take the Falcon 380 Racing as well. Now I've got some extra Falcony parts to keep the Falcon going in the future. Right, I'll go attach these to here, like this. There we go. I'll just put that on the wrong way around. Yes, I have. What an idiot. There we go. Yeah, put it on the wrong way around. Brilliant. Put those on there, and then this is going to go onto here with the screws going that way. The one thing I would say about this kit is there's a lot of bits on bits. Do you know what I mean? It's like you've got a plastic bit going into another tiny little plastic bit that goes into the body that clips in here, and you know, there's a lot of segmented parts, worry is a strong word, isn't it? I think that there's going to be some problems with the longevity of this kit, with bits breaking in the future, because you screw in tiny parts onto tiny parts and it just doesn't make any sense. Okay, one's in to this side. And it's stuff like this that over time you worry that if you have to do any maintenance on this thing, you have to take lots of parts apart, and you know, things get weak the more you screw it together and take it apart again. Stuff gets weak. Right, that's that. Let's put these upper body posty thingies on and screw those in next. If I can just find out where they go and get them in the right spots. Doesn't make any sense. Oh no. Oh, I don't understand what I'm doing with this bit. It's all getting a bit much for me, trying to talk and do this at the same time. It's all gone quiet, isn't it? Sorry about everybody. I was concentrating very hard then to make sure I didn't make any mistakes in this bit. But I feel I'm about to make a mistake, and I'll show you why in a minute. Let me just get this screwed in, and then I'll show you what I've done and why I think I've made a mistake. The manual's not particularly clear. It says that these body posts have got a mount on the front section, but it's not really working. I'm now worried I've put that on upside down. No, I haven't put it on upside down. So that's going to go in there. And then this screw's supposed to go through the back of that and through there, but it just all seems a bit weird to me. Just doesn't seem like that's the way it's supposed to fit. Like that, it reckons. There you go. I'd have thought that would have been sort of over here. Very strange. Anyway, it's on now. Again, I'd imagine it's got different positions that you can put that for different body post positions, for different body shells maybe. Which it's kind of a fun design, isn't it? It's kind of cool that you can sit it in multiple different places and turn it around and have it in different angles, but it does make it slightly confusing when you're putting it together to try and get it right first time. But hey, I think we've done it right. We'll see. We'll see when we get it all mounted up, won't we? Oof. You definitely need two hands for this bit, though. So, has everyone been watching the football? Got some World Cup fans, some football fans in the room, maybe? I've been enjoying it for what it is. I don't get into all the politics that are involved. I just like to enjoy the football. And it's nice to see lots of different nations having lots of fun and enjoying themselves. And it's also kept me rather distracted while I've been sat here doing absolutely, well, I won't say nothing, because I've not been doing nothing. But I have been sat here wondering what to do with myself. Right, that's the rear section of that put together. I've got the same sort of stuff to do now on the front end, but this one's also going to have the steering mechanism on it as well. So I'll go back to the box and find some more pieces, which is increasingly becoming more and more difficult as I can't find everything that I need. I'm sorry, I hadn't scrolled down. You guys have been chit-chatting away, and I missed a load of stuff because it had all locked up. Sorry, everybody. Mark's gone by the looks of it. Where did we get to? I cut the TTO2 rear posts too short. I had to buy some killer body extensions. You could 3D print them as well, couldn't you? Cut them down, they end up using truck body post extensions. 5 votes all say cut them, you maniac. Yeah, I really should. I've seen they have scale images of screws. Yes, they do in the kit. They have good. It's really easy. Noob question 5345. Does anyone paint the chassis or just leave it the colour it is? You gotta leave it. You gotta leave it the colour it is, man. Don't try and paint the chassis. I don't know if the paint will take, to be honest. Mark's gone. He's exited. The tool set is expensive everywhere. It's nearly $50 in Canada. Yeah, it's not cheap. It's not a cheap kit, but I tell you what, man, you will thank yourself for it. I can guarantee you that you'll thank yourself for it because it is brilliant. So I need that, and I need the D5 part, which I've got no idea where that is. D5. I didn't cut them down the drag hopper. I used CCO1 posts, which was short. Put spaces under them. $20 in the States for that. Okay, maybe the importers having a bit of fun there, perhaps. Canada is crazy expensive on things. Yeah, you know, if our mate Phil was in the chat, he would say the same as well. You guys get it rough at the minute. But he was saying that the Tamiya importer is on like the Canada East Coast. So if you're buying Tamiya parts that come in on the East Coast and they've got to get all the way across to another part of Canada, that's just adding additional cost to the shipping, isn't it? You know, you've got to import it one place and then ship it out somewhere else. Extra cost, extra cost. You'd have thought that someone would have bought that in on the West Coast with it all coming over from Japan. That's what I'd have thought anyway. I messed up the live stream chat for me by putting that poll in because it's not scrolling on its own anymore. I have to keep remembering to scroll it down. Right, more body posts to attach to this. This step's taking a lot longer than I thought. That I was going to be ripping through this and I'd be done in like a few minutes, and it's taken a lot longer to put this together than I thought. But that's also because I'm chit-chatting to you lot as well, isn't it? And having a good time. Right, so that's going in there. There's a little pin in there. That's going in there, and then the screw is just going in the top. Like so. This hobby can be, when it comes to pricing, it can be strange at times because, you know, here in the UK, I always look at the price of Tamiya kits overseas in Europe and think, you know, we're just getting completely ripped off. And again, not to get too political, you know, our tax system doesn't help. We add 20% on for sales tax, so we do get hit pretty heavy when we purchase things at shops. But even so, there are some kits that come here in the UK, like, you know, take the TTO2B, for example. That comes in retailed at about £130 here in the UK, which seems reasonable value for money for what you're getting, a four-wheel drive buggy. And then you flip over to the TTO2 BR that they released. Do you remember that? And that thing was insane. That was like over £300. Now, if you added up the hop-ups that were included in there, it still presented reasonable value for money. But that kit in the States was like nowhere near, on the conversion, nowhere near it. Tamco sold that kit for like €200 or whatever it was. It just seemed out of proportion against some of the other prices. And the DBO1 SR or whatever it's called is the same. That's come out and that's a ridiculous price. All over the shop. How can a Hornet be more than a TTO2B? Yeah, exactly. How can a Hornet be more than a TTO2B? You go to some and what amazes me as well with some shops, and I know, yeah, I'm gonna say it. When you've got online stores that sell kits for £130 or £140, and then you find another model shop in the UK and they're selling a kit at £180 for the same kit. I just can't understand where that discrepancy comes from. The Lunchbox Evo is just so random on pricing across the UK. I've seen it, best price I've seen it for is £150. And then I've seen other websites selling it for £190. And there's just no sense in why there's such a spread in the price of that particular unit in the market. So you have to shop around. Well, fortunately, unfortunately, in this hobby, you have to shop around and make sure you get the best value for your money and that you don't get ripped off. But then it's kind of like that in any hobby, isn't it? All hobbies you have to be careful when it comes to pricing. Make sure that you shop about for the best price on things. Tamiko do an MB01 or BT01 chassis in a bag for €60 and an unlimited ESC for €35. And that ESC is £65 here. It's made here, shipped to Germany at half the price. It's nuts, isn't it? It's nuts, Andy. The bag stuff, yeah, I kind of get how that comes about, because I'm assuming that Tamiko are breaking a kit down to get the body shell, to sell the body shell separately, the Mini, for example, and then selling the rest of the kit off in the bag for, because often those bag kits don't come with wheels and tyres, so they've been shipped off with the body shell to somebody, and all you're buying is the chassis parts without that. And with an MB01, if there's anything that's required that's special, you're not going to have that in the bag either. But it's still really good value, isn't it? And then that ESC makes no expense. How can they be manufactured here, sent to Germany, and be cheaper than they are in pounds? Just bonkers. Hydration break. We should pause for adverts at that point, shouldn't we? Right, so I've done that, I've got this bit, I've got this bit. This bit's now got to be attached to the steering. I've got to make some more of those little army things, which have now got to be slightly long. Whew, this is all getting very complicated all of a sudden. Look at this. This is what I'm trying to work out. You see this? This is the instructions of this bit. It's like the most complicated part of the whole build. And I keep putting different parts trees in different places because I'm running out of space. I'm going to drop something in a minute. I do like those kits in the bag. I've been eyeing those up. At some point, when I get a good chunk of cash together for a hobby fund, I'm going to have a little shopping trip at Tamiko, and I am going to import them. I know if there's any UK retailers that are watching this, I apologise in advance for promoting this behaviour. But for us in the UK, we can shop at Tamiko over in Germany, and we can order a shipment in. Yes, we've got to pay duties and we've got to pay taxes when it comes in to the country, but the saving that you get is just so good compared to buying those kits here. It works out a good purchase, even with the importation fees on it. So I have promised myself a little spree. You know, they tend to have, it's the odd chassis that they have that present as good value. Like they've got the big wig at like equivalent £200. They've got, which is like a £250, £260 kit. They've got Top Force Evo at like £150. It's nuts. G-Maxes, I think I'm just going to put sport tuned in my TT02BR. Keep it simple. You got a TT02BR. I wanted one of those. I liked that. It was on my hit list of kits to buy. And just stuff kept getting in front of it in the buy queue. And that's the problem. I keep a sort of a dream list of stuff that I want to buy. And there's always something that gets in the way. There's always a kit that comes out that sort of trumps everything else. Right, let's stick that there like that. That's about right there. Good. Yeah, there's always a kit that comes in that makes me want it more. So you end up buying that instead. It's like the Clodbuster. I said I was going to treat myself to a Clodbuster years and years ago. And I saved and I saved and I saved, and then I bought something else, and I saved some more, and then I bought something else, and I was saving up for a Clodbuster, and then I bought a 3D printer. It's just, you know, everything keeps changing my mind all the time. And he says, I got a DT02 kit in the bag. I knew I was changing the wheels and tyres out. €160 million from Tamco plus import. But I had priced a BT01 with an ESC, all the hop-ups, and it was about €220. That's because you were convinced that Phil was picking the BT01 chassis for the speed run. I didn't get it right. Didn't get it right. Needing a couple of turns. I'm getting better at sort of eyeballing these tie rods now to the right sort of length. I'm usually within about 2 turns. You got 10% off the TT02B, so you pulled the trigger. Yeah, but what was it? That was like a $200 car or something like that in the States, wasn't it? That one. I seem to remember seeing it was a. You guys got a good price on that. Right, these little things have got to go on here. That way. And this one over here, like that. Well, they're all set up and ready to rock. I didn't think he'd do 2 classic chassis back to back. G-Max said 259 retail, pretty sure. So even that 259 is, what's 10%? 10%, and then conversion's about 1.3 at the minute. You're still getting that for like less than £200 in the UK, and we were picking that kit up at £300. What have I done wrong here? I've got to get some more bits. More bits needed. Sorry. Yeah, surprised Phil didn't do a modern chassis. Yeah, I think what he wanted to do this year is give a chassis that was going to give people a bit of a headache, but also opened up to lots of creativity. And I think he got that, you know, in what he's picked, because it certainly has given people a lot to think about. Like Andy, for example, with his 6-wheeler. And I think it's good that people have had to give it a bit of thought. I really do. I think it's good. Now, slight problem here. It's telling me... no, it's not a problem. Not a problem at all. Because what I need... It's not bushings that go in there. It's some weird sized plastic things off of here that go in there. These two here are going into... They're not even fully round. They're like... See them? I mean, I know you guys are going to say I should just be using bearings. But remember, I did think this was going to just be a display model, so I wasn't too fussed about that. Could you imagine the other Andy Hall with a BT01? 26 wheels? Yeah, can you imagine? He'd just go nuts, wouldn't he? Right, step pins. They are going in here first. So these little dudes go this way and this way. The step pins are going through there and into this bit. So let's do that first. The right screw for the step pins. Oh, missed. "26 wheels." Don't give him any ideas, Andy. Don't give him any ideas for next time out when Phil does eventually pick the BT, whatever it is, 01. And Andy goes, "Oh yeah, 26 wheels, I can do that." Although I'm sure Andy's going to say, "Never again. Never again am I doing anything quite this crazy. I'm butchering this. This is bad. A bad news Bob here. I am butchering this tiny little piece that's got to go on here. This is bad. So I'm trying to mount this onto there. I reckon the best way of doing this is getting it flat. This is hard. Not enjoying this. Not enjoying this bit. Stupid kit. Going to stick with the dual ORG gearbox on the back when he chooses a BT01. Yeah, well, you've already got that made up, mate. That's the hard bit's already done. Uh-oh. Got a bit of a problem coming here, guys. This is not going in here easily, and it's rounding the screw off. Not good. Bad news. Never had this happen before. Right. Rounding off the screw. Much rather see the Blitzer Falcon chassis next time. Yeah, well, if you're already working on one of those, that would be a fun chassis to do, wouldn't it? That'd be a fun chassis to do. The problem with that one, I think, is availability, Bob. I don't think it's easily available everywhere. Not like the ORV. Oof. This is not fun. I do not enjoy this bit at all. I bought 2 BT02 lower decks to have a head start. And then Phil went and picked something else. I think he probably... I don't think he was influenced by some of the chatter, but I think he made the right choice in the end. I am not enjoying this part of this build. So that is now in, but that was, I've just ripped my nail twice trying to get that into there. Yeah, and this is probably the weirdest one of these steering decks I've seen ever. Normally they just, they screw on really easily. That's been an absolute nightmare. Not enjoyed that one bit, and I've still got another one to put the other side. I was about to say, I haven't realised I've done it the wrong way around now. I've still got to put this one in. Uncle Bob just put a Blitzer body on the ORV because no one's thought of that. Yeah, no one's thought of that. There's a lot of creativity, isn't there, amongst the speedrunners from what I'm seeing so far. Lots of interesting builds, lots of interesting designs coming up. I feel slightly embarrassed that I haven't got something cool to show off, but it's just going to be a standard frog with some motor in it, and I'm just going to rip it and see what happens. At the ORG, do you have instructions off camera, or are you going by experience to build this? No, I've got the instructions here, but wouldn't it be funny if I just sort of knew what I was doing and just cracked on with it? I'm not that good yet. I reckon I could put a DTO2 together without the instructions. And I reckon I could probably put a grasshopper together without the instructions. Something like this, with it being kind of a new chassis, would be way more challenging, especially with rubbish like this. Oh, I've done it. I'm not doing that again. My hands are ripped to shreds now. Yeah, there's a couple of kits I could probably have a go at, but this wouldn't be one of them. I've lost my little application stick to put some grease in the side of these weird little thingy-mabobbers here. So I'm just going to use one of these not tie rods, what they're called? Plastic ties, just to put a bit of grease in there like that, for wherever they're going to sit in a minute. Oh man, alive, they're not cool. In fact, I'm going to put that in and then grease it when it's in there. Just buy a monster beetle. Stock chassis frog with hot motor already at almost 60 mile an hour. That's insane, isn't it? Mine's not going to go 60 mile an hour. I'll be lucky if I get mine up to 20 to start with, because the only place I can run it is on the front yard. So it'll be what it will be. What? I need more C3s. I haven't got any more C3s. Have I? I need more C3s, guys. I need some more of those little tiny washery things. Ah. Take it all back. I do have some more C3s. They need to bring back 6-wheel F1 cars. I love the Tyrrell. Yeah, they reread that, didn't they, a while back? Mark's got one of those. That was a bonkers design, wasn't it, back in the day? Crazy stuff. It's crazy, man. Ooh, we haven't got that part. Where's that part gone? Uh-oh. I'm rummaging around in the box, guys, because there's I found it. I found it. There's a bit that I needed and I couldn't find it. I was panicking then. Yeah, Tamiya have had some wild designs in the back in the day, haven't they? They had those 6-wheel Kong heads and that sort of stuff in the past that were all pretty cool as well. I'm sure many of us would like to see Tamiya keep going with their crazy zany designs. Surprised we haven't seen more from Tamiya in the lead up to the winter heading in towards us, the end of the summer. You know, there should be some more. I mean, I know we've got the Lunchbox Evo come in, but that kind of is the last thing that we're expecting from Tamiya. There's nothing else on the Tamiya calendar, is there, after the Lunchbox Evo's out? We're waiting now to hear what they're going to announce next, which is a shame, because I was kind of hoping that they would have a little, you know, not that I need an excuse to buy more RC stuff at the minute, but it would be nice to know what they're planning so I can plan what I'm going to buy. But at the minute, there is nothing, no sign of anything. I keep hearing lots of them. There's always rumours, isn't there, about what might be coming next. At one point, I remember someone saying that they thought there was going to be something on the MB01 chassis. But I think it was Tamiya themselves who even said that, but that's all gone quiet. We're just going to have to wait and see, aren't we? Wait and see what they decide to send us next. What do you think Tamiya is going to release for the winter? What's your expectations? What's your desires? What would you like? You know, GMET wants the 6-wheel F1 car back again. What is everyone else thinking? What'll be good? You know what I want? I want the DTO1. No, DN01. There's a hack. That's what would be good for me. If they could just give me one of those, I'd be very happy. Probably still deciding what colour the proposal folder will be for their next project. Yeah. I mean, will we see a RC10 Zahak tribute before we see a Tamiya version of it again? What do you reckon? You know, that flipping frog things, not frog, fox thing is just a diabolical disgrace, isn't it? I mean, wouldn't it be interesting to see them do a frog chassis, an ORV? I don't know how they do that, lay down shocks and all that jazz. Right, I think we've got that together now. It all looks... No, I've got to now attach it to this with one screw. Is going to hold all that together. What? That can't be right. So those go in to there, like that. And then, it's all gone a bit. Oh, steady on, Craig. You know, the Quirk hopper isn't priced too bad. I might pick that up. How much is it in the US, the Quirk hopper? It's quite expensive over here. 200 quid. That's about 250 bucks. I think is expensive for what it is. Right, there we go. Steering mechanism is all on that back piece now. We've got the top piece. We've got to make the large steering rod next. So let's do that. I'm not sure what that's for. Ah, I wonder if that's the steering linkage for the other side. Here's a thought. No. I was thinking that I might have another set of those steering arms in here, but I haven't. What you have got is I've got the linkage. So given the way that's gone together on there, if you were able to get another set of the steering pivots there, could you create a steering pivot on there somehow? You probably couldn't easily, unfortunately. It's got me thinking, this gear. It's got me really thinking. 189 USD, so below 200 quid already. Yeah, so the conversion rate, you've got that about £150 a quart copper, which is about £50 saving what we're paying. So that is more reasonably priced in the States. Still got all those bearings though, haven't you? Oof. Right, we need to get the B9 pieces, which are the shorter ones, I think. Yes, we've got some extra tie rods. I just say B9, didn't I? B9. B9? No. Yeah. B9, it's the longer one. No. It's the shorter one. Come on, man. Get your eyes in gear. Right. RRP is £220. Model Sport have it £199. So that's where, if you were to go to some model shops, they'd be selling that at £220, when others will be selling it at £199. So £220 at 1.3 is about 280 bucks, and you'll get them for 189. So it's $100 difference. Do you guys use LRP motors? I picked a few of them up. I used LRP motor in one of the speed runs one year. They're pretty good, but they run mega hot. So just watch the heat on that motor, because it gets hot and it gets hot fast. But they are fast. They rev pretty high. But the heat might be a problem. You've got to watch the temps. As my mate Bob would say, you've got to be careful of your temperatures on a brushed motor, right, Bob? And that one will run hot. And it's got the V10 spec 12x2. I've got the 10x2. I bought the fastest one possible, the highest RPM possible. I think that one was 42,500 RPM, and you can believe it. You know, it is flipping fast. Flipping fast. FF. Ooh. Easy target. Yeah, the LRP motors seem quite reasonably priced as well, I think. Don't know what you guys think. Right, let's take a look, have a little measure on this, see if we've got this. Whoa! Dropped it. See if we've got this right. Absolutely bang on. By eye, first time. I'm getting good at this now. Getting good. Right, so we've got the tie rods. We've got all that together. Next thing we've got to do is mount these stays onto the gearbox, and we are cooking with gas. Right, let's make some space. Okay, we'll do the rear one first, which is this one. And it goes that way on there. No, it doesn't. It does. There. 2 little slots. Bish, bash, bosh. All the way through this build, there's been spare screws left over. And as we enter into the last part of it, there's no blooming spare screws left. Still on the fence about the M-Tronic Storm X ESC. Why are you on the fence with it, Andy? What's making you be on the fence with that? It is, it's pretty good, mate. It's pretty. Ah, whoa, whoa. You guys see that? All right. No, you can't see a bloody thing. Sorry, guys. Let me show you what's going on here. I was trying to put this straight on top of there, and it actually has to slide in. There's like a bracket, and you've got to get it into the bracket, look. And then you put your screws in. Good job I spotted that before I went too far. Yeah, so while you're on the fence, Andy, with that ESC, I've got the Storm X. That's the unlimited M-Tronic ESC, isn't it? It is brilliant, but it gets hot, man. It gets really, really hot, that thing. Because there's no heat sink on it. It's just like a lump of stuff. The Absolute Thrust 8 is a screamer. Is that right, man? I saw those. What's the RPM on that one? Any idea? Check it out, bro. Screamer. It's a screamer. Right, that's there. So now we're going to clip these little ball cup thingies on. One. And 2. There we go. So that is what Phil was saying about these rear wheels. Look at that. So that's the slop on that back wheel. And it's not just wobbly. It's just so much movement in them. See now what we've all been talking about all this time. It's a lot of pennies, and if you read the warranty, you can't change the connector. If you contact M-Tronic, they'll fit a Dean's for an extra £2. It's 70 quid. Yeah, it is expensive, but worth it, mate. It's worth it. And does it really matter? I mean, does it matter if you void the warranty on it by changing the connector? It's going to be all right, isn't it? You're not going to burn it out, are you? I suppose you might do. Depends how much grunt you put through it, I suppose, doesn't it? Absima 8T, 43 RPM. Sling Nerd. More noob questions. I see sometimes motors have heat sinks. I got a motor without heat sink. Then does that imply it doesn't need one? No, it doesn't. You going brushed or brushless, mate? What are you doing with that motor? A heatsink on a motor, on a 540 silver can, like this one's got in it, you don't need a heatsink on that. It's not going to get hot enough to warrant it. If you've whacked in a great big brushless plant, then, I don't know, maybe you do need a heatsink, I don't know. But if you're running a modified motor, then maybe you do. I don't think your Frog's going to need a heatsink on it, though, because the motor's got quite a lot of natural cooling around it, hasn't it? At the back of it. Someone can chime in who's got a Frog to hand and can tell you, or an ORV to hand and tell you. But I think you'll be all right without a heatsink on this one, buddy. But in the future, when you're doing other builds, you've got to be watchful of that. Doesn't mean you don't need one just because it hasn't got one. It all depends on how much power you're putting through it. Right. So the front ones are done there. And there's not as much, I suppose there is a bit of play in those front wheels, but not as, no, maybe there is. Maybe there is a bit. Not as much as the rear ones, though. The rear ones are a wobble fest. The front aren't too bad. Right, that's that together. And then we need this. Oh, I haven't put the end on the servo. What a plonker. just got to go in there like that, and then we're all gravy. Bob says, I've got an open end valve stock motor, 27 turn that spins close to 3,000 RPM. Uncle Bob has a butt ton of cool vintage motors. Yeah, he does. He is the motor man. If you need some information on a motor, Uncle Bob's your man, because he's got it all going on. Oh no! That's not good. Drop the piece, drop the piece. Not good, not good. Found it again. We're all right. We're still in business. So the heatsink is a battery sold separately kind of thing. Yeah, unfortunately it is, pal. Unfortunately it is. I have made a rick here. You can't get... Yes, you can, because I'm just going to force it. I'm going to force it. Oops. Heat sinks for the motors are like a peace of mind kind of thing. Your motor will last a little bit longer, but typically you don't need them, bro. Once you burn a cheap brush motor, just slap a new one in. Yeah, especially if you're using a 540 can, they are cheap as chips, as they say. Right. That is that. Chassis is completed. I think we're done. Look at that. So, MB01 is done. Lots and lots of weight on the front, not so much the back. I haven't got a battery pack in there. That will even it out slightly, I would say, because there's some weight then going into the middle. It's still going to be heavier at the front end of that chassis than it is at the rear, which should make it quite interesting. It's got a wider track at the front than the back, which is only a couple of mil, but that will make it quite interesting, I think, when it drives. I like the front end of this. I'm not sold on the back end of all this, with all this wiggle. And I think that's what Phil was saying. It's just not cool, is it? And I don't know how to tighten that up. You almost need something on the bottom here to keep the bottom arm as well. I wonder whether you could sort of... I don't know. No, you probably can't. There's nothing on the bottom for you to drill into either. You need something just to stabilise that bottom bit. There is another hole. You see it if I go on the overhead cam. There's another hole in here. Do you see in there? There. And I wonder whether you could put something between this top here of this joint. That's a screw pin, I think, in there. Or maybe it wasn't. Maybe it's just a regular screw in there. I wonder whether you could put something between there and there that would just strengthen that relationship somehow. Or whether instead of using ball cups here, you could use a different type of clipping system that would make it a bit stronger. But anyway, we've done it. We built an MB01, which was nice and good fun. And I've got lots and lots and lots of plastic parts left in the bag. So the next thing for this build is I've got to do the body shell. So I've got to cut that out, wash it, spray it, decal it, and all that jazz, which, if I'm honest, I'm not looking forward to. I don't enjoy painting bodies. Right, so to read a few more questions before I head out. We've got Sling Nerd. I hope you've had some good advice, mate, and your preparation for your build. By the way, I found my Schumacher modified motor was a 12 turn. No wonder the MF01X went like a scolded cat. Laser temp gun is your friend. Never let a brush motor get over 160 degrees Fahrenheit. I try to stay around 140 F. So you've got to check your temps, especially when you're speed running with a brush motor. You've got to check your temps. You're going to burn out either the motor or you're going to burn out your ESC if it all gets too hot, or you're going to mount your leads and set things on fire. I had an ESC go up on me 2 years ago, I think it was, the TTO2. Just got way too hot, and that was running that LRP motor, actually. It got way too hot and burnt up a 1060. You've ordered a tool set. Nice one, man. Coming later today. What a country you live in, dude. How on earth does that get delivered later today? That's ace on a Saturday. Suppose it is you on the west coast of Canada, are you? So it's still morning, yeah? But what a world we live in that you can order something in the morning and it turns up in the afternoon. That's just the best, isn't it? It's 5 o'clock here in the UK. It's almost tea time or dinner time. And I've got to think about what I'm going to do for myself. I've got to limp into the kitchen and go and see if I've got any food everywhere. I've just realised it was a 2-hour live stream. For those of you that were in it from the start, Andy Hall was in at the start. If any of you others were in right at the start, I appreciate that, man. I think G1 was in pretty much at the start or pretty close to the start. I appreciate you all. Bob's saying, check your inbox, dude. I will check my inbox in a little bit, man. I'm going to have a look on my phone, which is mounted up here, giving you the overhead view at the minute. I will check out my phone in a little bit. But I appreciate you all hanging out with me and giving me lots and lots of chat. And I really enjoyed that. Have you guys got any questions you want to ask me before we sign off? Anything you want to know? Any questions about the hobby? Before I decide to call this one a day, well, basically before nature calls, 2 hours of me chatting to you guys. We're entering into danger zone in the not too distant future, and I can't leave it till the last minute because it becomes a mad dash, and I am not in a position of doing mad dashes at the minute. I can do very fast limps, but that's about as quick as we get. Glad I made it. I missed the last few. Yeah, well. I tried one on a Tuesday night or something random like that, and that was a mistake because just people aren't around on a Tuesday, you know. And Saturdays would always work better because more people are going to be around. I think I did one on a Sunday as well, which, you know, Sundays can be all right, but again, people have got life, haven't they? And life can get in the way from time to time. So I'm pleased to get one out on a Saturday, and you know, I do enjoy doing the live streams. I do enjoy chit-chatting. When I do my builds, it's kind of like a live stream. I do kind of just record. I put the camera on and I just let it go and I just build and I show the camera stuff. And it's like a live stream, but then I edit it down into a nice little short 20-minute video. But actually, this chatting to you guys while I'm building is really what I'm good at and what I enjoy doing. I like chatting. I'm very good at it. I'm very good at talking about a lot of crap to people, so I quite enjoy just nattering away. And you know, I thought I'd struggle with it at first because I'm just talking to a camera, I'm just talking, and you guys are virtually there, but you're not here in the room, and you have to get sort of past that a little bit. But I do enjoy it, I really do. Where's the love for all the old Losi kits? Well, I don't really have an affinity for the Losi kits, Bob, because they weren't really on my radar back in the 80s and the 90s. But Losi aren't doing themselves any favour by not bringing those things back to the modern day. I'm still not entirely sure I understand the logic behind not putting those things out. Do you? I could do a sprightly hobble. Yeah, it's about where we're at the minute, isn't it, Andy? I want the new Losi NASCAR, Bob. Have you seen those little 1/12 scale buggers? They look really cool. There's no Riri Losi. It's kind of missed the boat. Yeah, exactly. That's what I just said, wasn't it? DTO2 with the PR Racing PR 1 meter wheels looks close. A while ago, they had the Bass Pro NASCAR, then pulled it because it's sporting goods store. The Riri market was mega hot, probably towards the tail end of the pandemic, wasn't it? Tamiya was bumping a load of stuff out, and Team Associated caught up and then went way too far. Losi said they weren't going to do it because they didn't want to devalue their. Well, no, it was made out. I'm sure it was Gavin at RC Kicks said they didn't want to devalue their vintage kits. I mean, what do they care if they're going to sell Losi kits to the market? They're going to sell Losi kits to the market. What do they care if they're vintage? If a collector's got a kit that's worth 800 quid, it's no bother to Losi at all, is it? Yeah. So they should have just put those kits out into the market during that period of time, and did what everyone else did: jump on the bandwagon, jump on while the trending is hot, get on it. I think that trend has dropped out of the market a little bit for two reasons. Number one is the market is tight at the minute because people don't have the same amount of disposable income. So unless you've hoarded a load of kits like I have, it's more difficult to find the money to keep pumping into the hobby, because life is just needing it to go elsewhere at the minute. And I think everyone's feeling that pinch. But also, the flip side to that is there's a whole host of new stuff that's coming out all the time, and people are always looking to the shiny new thing as well, you know? So if Losi came out to the market now with their whatever it is, JX2 or J2X or whatever it's called, they came out with one of those now and stuck it into the market, people would look at it and go, wow, yeah, I've been waiting for one of these, that's great. The price is going to be ridiculous. I'm not going to say it's going to be prohibitive, but it's going to be expensive. Maybe it's just they've missed the boat. It's too late for people now. And he says, I would like to see the old Nikon cars back. Dandy Dash was one of my wants back in the day. And the Muari Ninja, is that how you say it? The Muari? I'm not very good with that. Yeah, who owns those though now? Who owns the old Nikon cars? The IP must be somebody's. And the same with the Ninja. That must be somebody in someone's back catalogue because they purchased the license or they purchased the copyright for it back in the day, I think. So, you know, but again, I think people have missed the boat. The time for that was before, and I think they've missed the boat on it now. So, I don't think we're going to see many more re-re's, if I'm honest. I like the way Schumacher did theirs. I like the way Kyosho did theirs as well, where they kind of made the kit, put it out into the market, made it plentiful. There's always a stock coming. It seemed to have been a more sustainable way to get your re-re's out into the market. Nico is still going with Toy RTR. But have they really got the need to go and do a sort of a vintage one? I'd like to see Kyosho dip a bit further into their back cat. I think they've still got stuff that they could bring out if they really, really wanted to. I think Tamiya have still got stuff they could bring out if they really, really wanted to. There's still plenty of things that they've got to go at. I mean, they did that Porsche 934 with that different chassis, got that back out into the market to celebrate 40 years. I'd love to see them do the 959. I know a lot of people would. I'm not necessarily saying I would buy one, but I think it would be good for the hobby if they did, because it would mean people could go and buy that body shell and enjoy driving, even if that was on a more modified modern day chassis, much like they've done with that the 934. I think people would go for it. The Dynastorm should be out in the market, you know? It should. There's no reason why it shouldn't be. What else is there? The DN01, we talked about that earlier in the live. I think that Tamiya could easily put that back out into the marketplace. Heck, they could even put some TRF models back out into the marketplace if they wanted to. They just have to run some of the parts again. But they must still have all those tools and all the ability to do that. Why wouldn't they push it back out into the marketplace? They obviously assess it. I mean, I'm not close enough to the numbers and the demand and how many of these things that they sell. I can't quite fathom what that number would look like. But you've got to believe that there's enough demand for the Tamiya kits that people would buy them. And that's not, I can't see that's the reason why they haven't put a Dynastorm back out, because people wouldn't buy it, you know. And I'm sure if they could find a way of putting out the Stadium Blitzer or is it the Dyno Blaster as well, you know, if they could find a way of bringing some of those buggies back out, and the Falcon for flipper's sake, you know, I'm sure people would buy it. I'm sure people would pick them up. They'd have enough demand for one, shouldn't they? Schumacher Wildcat. Kyosho Heavy Metal Tank. The Kyosho Big Brute. Absolutely. All stuff that is possible. The Kyosho Raider, you know? But then with some of those older models, have they still got the tools? Have they still got the ability to run the print? I don't know. They could remake them, couldn't they? In this day and age, they could scan it, remake it fairly easily. I mean, even if they put the actual parts, got a vintage one, put the parts into a cast and worked out how they redid it again, they should be able to redo it. I can't believe Tamiya haven't got a boxed version of a Dino Blaster somewhere within there, if they haven't got the molds, in their back catalogue selection somewhere that they could get the parts off and then rework how they create a new mold for that and put it back out into the marketplace. But again, it all comes down to money, doesn't it? Be happy with tyres for my Raider-based RS500. Oh man, they were nice, weren't they? Yeah, tyres for that must be a huge problem. And wheels, for that matter, as well, at this point. It must be very difficult to get the wheels for that now. They were cool, weren't they? Was the RS 500? Was that the Cosworth, the Sierra? Or was that a different one? I can't. There was Sierra Cosworth, wasn't there? That was nice. Right. Thank you everybody for hanging out with me for 2.25 hours. I am gonna have to. Nature's calling, so we're gonna have to call it a day. We'll do another one of these maybe next month and hang out again, and I'll find something else to put together. I've got plenty of things that I need to. But I need to build that RC10T, so I think that might be my next build. I've got to think about how I'm going to do that, and I might even be able to get back in the studio next month, which would be fun as well, which would be nice. So thank you all for tuning in. I hope you all have a brilliant rest of the weekend, and take care of yourselves. And good luck with your RC builds for the Speedrun Challenge. All of you that are taking part in that, I hope it goes well. I hope that you all have the speeds that you want and no horrible crashes, especially the other Andy Hall, who's putting so much work into his kit. It would be a real shame for that not to last the whole of the month of July. Yeah, and I'll see you all on the next one. Thank you very much, and see you soon. Bye for now.